come before this evening. We glorify your name. We give you thanks. We give you glory, Adonai. Thank you, my Father, my God, Yeshua God, for the gift of life, my Father, my God, Yeshua God. Thank you for the good health, my Father, my King, my God, Yeshua God. Tonight we invite you, my Father, my King, my God, Yeshua God. Let whatever that we're going to talk here, my Father, my King, my God, Yeshua God, be of edification upon our lives, my Father, my King, my God, Yeshua God. Let the time that we'll spend here, my Father, my God, Yeshua God, have an impact into our lives, Jehovah, King God, and all the glory and honor shall be unto you. For it is in the mighty name of Jesus Christ I do pray, trusting and believing. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Samuel. That was good. Uh, so good evening once again to our brothers in the house. Today is 20th of June, and as we are all aware, we are in the Men's Mental Awareness Month. So this month is supposed to be specially dedicated to our men, our fathers, the male figure in the society, the man who is always carrying the pressure. As we start, I'd like to read a verse in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, from verse 23, so that we kickstart our discussion tonight. I believe all of us have the points of our discussion tonight. Malawi, you can share maybe the theme of the topic together with whatever we are having as discussion tonight. So Ephesians chapter 5 verse 23, the Bible reads, "For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body of which he is the Savior." I would like to give maybe an explanation to this. I've said the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 23, the Bible reads, "For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body of which he is the Savior." Now, this one means the context, the husband being the head of the wife or of the family, means the standard of a husband's leadership is the way Jesus Christ leads and loves the church. In other words, man has been placed at a pivotal strategic point that he bears the burden of showing the way, that is to the wife, to the family, and even to the society, because it is the man who represents Christ on earth. Therefore, if man is not cautioned well, or if caution is not taken into teaching and bringing the man to this kind of understanding, then we'll be having a failing society. Mark you, we understand right now that the world is really going wayward. If we are Christians, we can look at it at that angle, that the world is going wayward from the teachings we received from our parents and everything. And you realize that the parental figure in the society is really missing. Therefore, tonight we are gathered here so that we can help ourselves to go back to that position of dominion, to get back to that position in whereby we can handle the affairs of the society elaborately and well, as a man is supposed to be handling them. Therefore, we'll be having a few speakers tonight, but before then, let me at least discuss the topics. Let me mention at least the topics we are discussing today. So, number one, we'll be discussing depression in men, why men often hide depression and all these signs and symptoms, and how to overcome these challenges. So, we also have suicide and self harm. Number three, we have identity and self worth. Number four is emotional suppression. Number five is financial pressure. Then we having also the burden of being a provider, that is the financial pressure. Also, we have fatherhood and masculinity, addictions, relationships and marriage, loneliness and isolation, sexual purity and integrity, trauma and childhood wounds, anger management, purpose and calling, mental health and faith. Yeah, those are among the main things that we're going to be discussing tonight. So I believe everyone has the topics. Malawi, you can share again for the visitors who are meeting us along the way, so that they have a clear understanding of what we are discussing tonight. Therefore, once again, allow me welcome all of us to this great discussion tonight. This is the Clear family. We are gathered here with one unity, that is to represent Christ in every aspect and dimension of human life. So I like to thank you, Mr. Abel, Mr. Samuel, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Lawi, Mr. Yashon, Ronald, Mr. Titus. Thank you all for coming. Therefore, with our discussion tonight, maybe we can start by highlighting among the challenges that we have mentioned above in our chat. We can at least try to understand. We can start by highlighting how can we cope up with these challenges, and how can we be able to overcome the challenges so that our future is successful, and the future of the generation that we are presenting is successful. Remember, we have said the man has the standard, the man sets the principle, the man sets the rule of how we are going to live in this society. And mark you, most of the civilization, most of the leadership in this world is male dominated. That is, the man is always the head, the key figure that is looked upon to provide the best solution to the world in terms of any challenges that we are facing. The man is also counted upon to make a good image, to portray a good image and a reflection of the person of Christ. That is in Christianity. You see, the man carries the real identity of Christ. So therefore, we are going to start with the topic number one, that is depression in men. Then how we can handle this depression. To start this one, the first topic I like to say, depression has become a wound in the society. We are having people, not only men but also female, who are handling depression at different stages, at different times in life. And we have seen people who are succumbing to these challenges because they did not have a clean platform or a way that they can be able to handle this situation. Maybe we can start with a who is willing at least to kickstart us to speak about depression, the challenges, and how we can be able to overcome them. Mwenye ako tayari? Mr. Samuel, you can at least say something concerning depression and how we can be able to handle them. Then we continue.
Uh, Sorry about that. I think the main aim here is first to understand what is depression, and I'm 100% sure that all of us, if not most of us, allow understand what depression is, and we may have encountered it once in our lives, but I've come to realize, and it was a huge topic today because we were in a convection of comrades, and how they were talking about the kind of things they are going through, and the things they were speaking is the depression part of it, because depression comes as a matter of piling up of stress. Because if you stress about something today and still not work on it tomorrow, then it becomes a stress on the later day. So refusing to face a problem and looking the other way is what first brings depression. And depression is a submission of many forward of stresses. Now, how do you deal with depression in your life? First, to start with communication. If I can be able to find somewhere I can express myself, then a hearing ear is better than a speaking mouth, because when you're ready to be heard, then you can be able to speak out. If you find the courage to speak out and you have a listening ear, you don't need somebody to give you advice. No, a problem spoken is a problem half solved. So speaking out, and most of us don't speak out. I've come to realize that today, because as we were having that discussion, many men were saying that the one thing they do is that they suppress their stress, because tears and speaking out is not the culture of men according to Africans. Now, if we suppress ourselves to the declining of that, we cannot speak out, we cannot cry out. Personally, I'm with the agreement that if it is to cry out, then find a seclusion. Don't cry out in front of your girlfriend. Why? Because she will use it as a weapon. Tuambiane tu kweli juu. Hakuna haja niseme ende ufungulie girlfriend yako na hakuna kitu atakusaidia nayo. Second is to find I love using my a parent figure, because a parent figure will never disappoint you. He will never use your weakness against you. Your girlfriend ataona umelia leo, akuja aitumie baadaye. Utakuja umwambie kitu inakusumbua leo, ataitumia baadaye in one way or another. Your friends can use it in one way or another, but I've never seen a parent choose his or her daughters, sons or daughters shida kumtania. So I believe that one of the way is speaking out, and speaking out to the right person, because hata ukiongea ukispeak out to the wrong person, it's also a problem. So I believe that's my take on that. Thank you, McFire.
Thank you, Mr. Ronald. You can at least have a contribution on the same.
Thank you, Mafra. I don't know if I'm how do Hello.
Yes,
Okay. Thank
we can
you.
get you.
Okay. Thank you so much. First of all, let me congratulate you guys for coming up with such forum. It's rare to happen out here because being out here, most people are not making mention, forgetting the crucial element that is here and comes with its own I can say its own depression in the case that you are keeping on depression. The reason I'm saying Monday is this right now, so you'll find some men have gone to maybe clubbing or to just find something to do to just cover up the situation through, which is for my case is now the depression we're talking about, because you find that as a man, there are a lot of things that we go through being a man, that you just the way you mentioned Mark, man as a man in most cases, even in leadership position, men are expected to provide and show how it should be done. So you'll find as a man who is growing up and trying to catch up with this setup, the society the standard the society has set, you will find that you might find yourself meeting this expectation, and in that case, you feel like you are a lesser inferior man, or maybe you did not perform to your best and you feel like you are being left behind. And you see, that fear of being left behind creates that anxiety, and call it anxiety of you feeling like you need to fill up so far so that you can be identified or you can be seen. So this in a way creates in a man something I can call like a competition within himself or within himself, such that I myself right now maybe I'm struggling financially, and what the society has identified to is that you cannot speak up as a man if you have nothing. So you see, first I need to find money so that I can have a voice to speak. You see, but if I don't have the money, then or in this case, then I don't have the voice. So you will find that I will be struggling so much to make this well, to an extent that I find myself over pressing myself or overstretching myself to the limit that were not really necessary to the maybe to according to the level that I am in right now. If I was comfortable with where I am and maybe making plans and arrangements on my own pace, then maybe I think will have worked out. But because right now the way things are running, things are moving so fast. I have a girlfriend with here. I have a whole family members who are looking up to me to provide or to support. I have friends who are instantly for financial support, and that this thing is coupled down onto me as a man to 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 provide. You see, like they are not looking at it as you are struggling, but they are expecting that we should marginally, in a way, provide the thing we expect to provide. You see, so such a case, you find that a man will feel like he's being depressed, and in most cases, you find that it will be hard for you to constantly say, I don't have. I've used an example of money in this case because that is what is common in most of our homes or in most of our situation right now. That people are expecting you to be there to provide financial support to them when you yourself still struggling to make things meet up, you see. So you'll find that that feeling of not being in a position to provide makes you feel like you are a weaker or lesser one. And that at the moment that word or that thing registers in your head, you start feeling like whatever efforts that you're making are not working out. Even if they're working out behind the scene without you seeing, we will not really notice it because you have overwhelmed yourself with a lot of expectation that you want to meet up on other people's the other people's have set on you. So to come back to your point, Martha, on how we can, I think number one is to understand yourself. Like you need to know at which limit how far can you stretch as an individual. I know most of you like I don't know if it was the one who was speaking before. Is it Thomas or I got the name wrong? Anyway, he was talking about then there are those limits that you can stretch yourself, right? Tomorrow, once you have graduated, there are another limit that you are expected to stretch yourself. So that is now finding the employment, finding job, making money and all that. Right now, maybe people are not really looking up to you to provide the financial support because you are still studying, you are depending on them. But still, they're in school or they're in campus, there are some expectations that you are expected to perform. Maybe you have now maybe started dating and your friend is looking up to you to maybe provide. Yes. And there you are, maybe you are self-sponsoring yourself, maybe in terms of maybe catering your food or for your house, even for your fees. For some cases, most of the other that I know, some educated themselves. So you'll find that you are now stretching yourself so much to please this the third party that you have brought into your life, to the extent that you want to impress her so much that you feel like what you are doing is not enough, or which it is true is not enough, but because the expectation that you have is that if you go further enough, you will make her impress, then that's what you but in real sense, what you are doing is overstretching or piling up to become a depression. And that is why you find a situation where maybe the girl has cheated on you, or such a in most cases, such a case, you'll find that you become way worse. You become like someone who like the world because you are, how can I put it in a simple, like you are invested in that. So just in a nutshell is to say, just trust in yourself in whatever the situation that you are in, and always just the ways that the previous speaker has spoken, speak up. Let us always speak up. You cannot maybe tell everybody the situation that you are going through, but the only first person that is God. You should speak up to is the Bible it says, bring your man to me and I will give. See, that is encouraging us to pray so, because and not just that prayer of praying in your head. It's also good to open your mouth and speak it out. The moment you do that, you get not full actual strength, you get some solace so that you get enough strength to know how can you open up to the second person. Then God can do to the person that will enable you to listen to you and being understood. So yeah, I think that is what I will share today. For now, maybe I will add on it much later.
Thank you. Maybe we can appreciate Ronald. Yeah, so depression is one of the issues that have become like so dominant in the nation as we speak about mental health and everything. Depression has been noted to be the highest killer of men sadly, and therefore it is important to tackle it with so much care and so much knowledge, because we really need to find solutions to this. Maybe we can highlight some of the signs of depression that we can watch before it gets to a point whereby somebody starts to, thinking about suicide and something. Within that time, at least, Mr. Titus, you can at least take us through the next topic, that is the is it is suicide and self-harm. I don't know if Mr. Titus, you're okay to take us through that. And in the meantime, guys, we can type at least some of the issues that we need to look upon, and some of the signs and symptoms of depression that we can try to look at before it gets to a place where we go to this, self-harm and suicide and things like that. So, Titus, are you ready to help us through that?
Yes, thank you for having me. Yes, suicide is simply taking out one's life out of different causes, and then self-harm is just anything that would cause pain to your life or to your body, something that is not healthy, something that would impair your mind, your thoughts. So suicide could be caused by stress or depression or just issues of life. You find that out of the pressures of life, you see no need to continue living. Maybe because you gambled your school fees away and you have no way of facing your parents to tell them that you gambled away your school fees. We've had such cases. We've had people gambling away their their houses, their properties, their cattle, even others gamble away their wives. They do not know what how to face life beyond that. So someone just the thing that they attach meaning to when it is tampered with, they decide that I can no longer live. You have had people in love pledging to one another, I can no longer live without you. And sometimes it happens that if the relationship ends, one of the parties commits suicide. We've also had children who don't want to be reprimanded by their parents when they are told that this is wrong, or when they find that life is not as smooth as they thought it would be. They end up just committing suicide. And so it has happened in the lives of many men, many young men, many old men. But recently in the internet, we had the case of the Nigerian CEO who jumped some time ago and killed himself. We've had prominent people. They had money, they had positions, they had what seems to be power, but their inner man was not at peace. Their inner man was not stable enough to have the will to continue to live. So that way, you when the your inner man lacks that tenacity to face trials and tribulations of life, as Chinua Achebe says, when the center cannot hold, things fall apart. So you end up writing notes and you take a rope or you take whatever poison you feel that will end your life. But sometimes when people survive, when their attempts are not successful to end their lives, I think they come back to their senses and they think otherwise. They reflect on why they were doing this. So no matter where life takes you, you should be willing to forgive yourself. Sometimes you make bad decisions. Sometimes you make decisions that even could implicate your family. Your people have to sell their land to bail you out of something that you have done, and you feel like a black sheep that you are not worthy of living. You should not condemn yourself, and we should also watch out for men around us whether young or old, and at least speak to them just to find out what makes them so withdrawn, so silent, because those are some of the signs of depression and stress. And with time, you find people taking their own lives. Then when they are gone, we say that we saw this and this sign. We wish we could have known what we could have done. At least let's start with those conversations. Let's engage fellow men, fellow youths. Let's know what's going on in their lives. Let's know where they are in this journey of life. Sometimes you just look at your peers, you see as if you are a failure, and you just think that, especially when you watch on social media, the kind of lifestyle people are posting as compared to you, you would feel as if you are nobody. But if only you would know the truth, if you would get into people's minds and hearts and know how weak, how feeble, how vulnerable, how anxious they are. It is not the things you see on the outside. The real man is the man on the inside, and we should uh, have assurance of our self worth, accept ourselves, accept that we are in this world. It's a broken world. It's not perfect, and we have to fight to attain our destinies and our purposes. And even if you are born in poverty, you have an opportunity to change that. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's not easy. You will find acceptance, you will find rejection, but that is all there is in life. You are facing rejection, another person who has money, has stress, because he is also not sure whether he has genuine friends. So there is no single man who can say that he doesn't have challenges in this life, so he has a legitimate reason to end his life. And the things we go through are not new to us, they are not unique to us. The Bible says that there is nothing new under the sun. I think Solomon tried a lot of things in this life, and he still continued living until an appropriate time to die came for him, until death came for him. So it is not up to us to go to look for death, but we should make choices that help us make progress in life. Then on the issue of self harm could be mental through the environment we subject ourselves to, through the things we listen to, through the things we are watching, through the thoughts that we entertain. It could also be through habits that we are into. You get into gambling, into betting, and that way you become addicted. And it not only wastes your time and energy and wastes you as a person, it also wastes your resources. You get into toxic relationships, you waste your time, your money, your resources. By the time you are done, time is gone, and your value system is also destroyed, because this person you are with, you are believing you could build a future together, but then they show you dust, and you no longer believe in family, you no longer believe in marriage. Also, expectations could destroy you, because sometimes we expect people to stand with us, or we expect people to do certain things for us, but then that does not come to be. And instead of doing what we could have done by ourselves, we are waiting for other people to urge us or to hold our arms. And that way we are not building ourselves. And that wasting time and raising expectations to others, for me, I would consider it self harm. Then there are also peer pressure, things you see your peers doing. Because my friends are doing this, let me also dare this. My friends are going for the summer tides in the coast, let me also go borrow money, let me go. You are sabotaging yourself. when you are attempting to do something that is not within your ability, that is not within your capacity to manage, that is a potential danger to your life. It's a potential threat to your life. So we have a responsibility to watch over our lives. When you also expose yourself to false teachers, to con men, you are told when the deal is too good, think twice. But you have friends who are showing you quick ways of making money. You just know very well that it will not be long before authorities catch up with you as a man. And so sometimes we find we have people who are our peers who have gone behind bars severally to the point that they have gotten used. They do not care. They can do anything because they are used to going behind bars, and any time they can go and come out as they have always done. Others, you find your conscience has been seared. There is no end. You cannot go to attain whatever you want to attain. If it is money, you can cheat, you can lie, you can manipulate, you can con to make money by all means. That is inflicting harm on our lives, on ourselves. And also, we have a duty to take care of our bodies. I know we have a lot of challenges on the internet, and you find young men wanting to try. I don't know, you want to do a nice bucket challenge, and sometimes you cannot sustain that. You end up with some conditions that you are not able to live comfortably with. Or even sometimes you want to have tattoos, you want to tattoo the name of Jesus on your chest because you so much love Jesus. We should be careful the things we do, that we do not harm ourselves, that we do not harm our bodies, our souls, and even our spirit, the things we watch, the things we expose ourselves to, and even the podcast we expose ourselves to. I know there is a lot of information in this age, but not everything is meant for you. Just know what you need, get what you need, and keep moving in life. You cannot consume every information there is. You cannot consume all the TikTok videos there is on the internet. The internet also is also another tool that is inflicting harm on young people. The influence of the media, you find you can get into TikTok up to an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You've wasted time, you've wasted bundles. But the things that you have seen, and it also reduces your concentration. You find that if you are able to focus on something for a minute or two now, if the TikTok, whatever, and the reels and the YouTube shorts, they are timed for like 30 seconds. So in an hour you could go through thousands of those videos. By the time you are done, you find that you have developed another habit whereby you cannot concentrate because you have gotten used to such like behavior. So those are some of the issues with suicide and inflicting self-harm on ourselves as men and as young men. And these are things that we see every day. We know the issues of drugs. Even as born again men, you go somewhere, they tell you just to take a little wine. It's not bad, but that's a gateway to another place that you would not want to venture into. So these are things we should watch out for. And also even our diets, the kinds of foods we we eat. Yes, I think that's all I can say for now, McFly. Thank you.
Thank you. We can appreciate Mr. Titus. So, dear friends, the truth is that we are having men and we are losing men. Mr. Daniel Lewin has done good. He has said signs of depression include sadness, anger, anxiety, withdrawal from other things, sleep, loss that I believe is sleep, loss of appetite, that is appetite changes, also low energy and pain, negative thoughts, worthless thoughts, suicidal thoughts. So men are always at the forefront whenever it comes to these things because we have realized that it has come to a position in the society whereby the man is pre-believed. There's a premonition, there's a belief that the man usually needs to be strong. If a man cries today, they say this man is weak. If a man goes through some pain and he admits openly that he's going through some pain, the society is always quick to harshly judge that man. That's why we have taken time at least to go through the first 2 points so that we get a solution to this. Mr. Samuel had mentioned earlier of some of the ways that we can be able to cope up with these challenges. Mr. Ronald also added his voice. Mr. Titus has said that we need to look at the key things that are causing these things to be affecting us. He said, number one is the peer pressure, the pressure we're having from our friends, our folks outside there. They can tell us to do something that we know that this thing is going to harm us eventually, but again, we get into it. He has also talked about social media. And then I realized from my own experience that the more time you're spending in social media, the more your brain becomes reluctant towards thinking creatively. In fact, when you spend time in social media, there chances are that you may not be able to think correctly even after coming out of that place. I don't know if that is true, but that is my own theory. So kindly be aware of these challenges that we are facing. Be aware of how we can be able to you can be able to solve them. So number three talks about uh, identity and self-worth. I think this is also adjacent to the first two topics that we have talked about. This can be as a solution. So Mr. Who will help us here? Mr. Daniel Owino, can you at least tell us how we can be able to build a strong identity and self-worth? How can we can be able to build a solid foundation on our identity and our public image, if you may, sir? Mr. Daniel Owino. Okay, as Mr. Daniel finds his way to the ya kuongea, Mr. Joel, you can at least help us to understand this topic hii number 3 inaongelea about identity and self-worth. Maybe you can add your voice on the same. Mr. Joel? Am I mnanisikia ama nimetoka meeting? Oh, I'm here. Okay, thank you. Mr. Jacob, then you can help us in that.
Thank you for this opportunity, but nimeingia side tu, sijasikia what you are asking. You can ask the question again.
Okay, we are talking about the Men's Legacy Assembly. This is our second session. I believe the first one haikupata watu wengi. Now, number one, we have talked about depression and how to handle it. We have also talked about suicide and self-harm. Now, on number 3, the topic is identity and self-worth. Maybe Lavi, you can reshare the topics. Identity and self-worth. Who am I beyond my job, my money, my relationship, or achievements? How can we build identity on solid foundation? So we are talking about identity and self-worth. Therefore, you can at least help us to understand why this is important to us as men and how we can build a strong foundation on identity, our public image, and our self-worth.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I can say identity is when one is able, or is when I'm able to understand who I am. That is identity. That is identity. Oh, number one, I'm Ogeto Jacob. Yeah, that is my name, Ogeto Jacob. But hapo naona inasema Oeta. Pia it's mine. I have 3 names. But yeah, I'm Ogeto Jacob. So I want to talk about identity and self-worth. For us men, identity, as I've said, Number one is to identify who I am, and self worth. Uh, how can I make it this way? Self worth is how I can value myself, maybe the significance I can have in regardless to my achievements, maybe, or position of or net worth. But hello, are you getting me? Mnanisikia?
Ya,
Oh,
tuongeze sauti kidogo tu.
network yangu network yangu ilipotea kidogo. Are you getting me now? Oh, so I can proceed. So nimesema number one, identity is me understanding who I am, and self-worth is the value I have and the significance in regardless to the achievements maybe I've achieved or what I possess. Or when I listen to other people's opinion towards me, because we do listen to people, I can ask somebody. For example, if I ask Joel, who am I? Ananiambia wewe, so and so. Through that, I can say I'm getting self-worth, how worth I am, hmm, what I've achieved, and whatever I possess. Maybe somebody having a vehicle can say that I'm worth something, because when you include all the assets, whatever you calculate, you get your self-worth. Well, by look of things, I can also see what self-worth and identity means. So I want to talk about the importance of self-worth and identity. Number one, it gives you direction and purpose. When you know your identity, we talk of self, it gives you direction and a purpose. A man who understands who he is less likely to be confused by peer pressure. When I understand who I know me by myself, it becomes difficult for me to be convinced by peer pressure to do other things which may not even seem right. Then he makes decisions based on his values and principles. When I make a decision, I know who I am, I know what I have, what I've achieved, what I'm doing, and what I'm aiming at. So it gives me direction and a purpose. When you make a decision, you make the right decision, which takes you to the right destination where you want to go. When you know who you know what you stand for. That is what I can say from that. Number two, it builds confidence. When you know who you know your self-worth, what you have achieved, what you possess, or whatever, or what people say about you. It gives you confidence, you know. True confidence comes from knowing strengths and weaknesses. You know, if I do this, I'm best. When it comes to this side, I have a weakness here. So you have that confidence in whatever you are doing, you make the right decision and you do what's right. Hmm? Number three, it helps when we have challenges. Life brings failures, disappointments, and setbacks. A strong identity helps a man to remain steady even when circumstances are difficult. Sometimes unaweza fika upate umefika mwisho, you know, unaona that there is no future. But when you know yourself, identity, you know who you are, you know what you have achieved, your self-worth, it helps you when challenges come, because in life lazima we do have challenges equal. So when challenges come, I know who I am as Ogeto Jacob. Who am I know what I've achieved, also my self-worth. It helps me to prosper or to go beyond the after. For example, challenges mekuja in kusaidia you overcome the challenges. That is what I can say. And
Why self-worth is important? It influences decisions. When you make decisions, when you know, for example, you know what you have. For example, someone wants to buy a car. Yes, you wish to buy a car. When you know what you possess or what you have, self-worth, how worth are you? Are you capable to raise 3 million to go and get a new car? It helps when making decisions. It protects against negative influence. Yeah, when you know what you have, whatever, when some things or some influence comes, maybe from colleagues trying to influence you, you remain steady. You make the right decision. Maybe that is what I can say concerning identity and self-worth. Maybe kama nimeenda nje ya topic mtanikumbusha. Thank you very much. That is what I've said.
Thank you. We can appreciate Mr. Jacob. That is profound agenda in the topic. Yeah, it requires us for us to be able to build a solid foundation on our identity. There is a need, there is a dire need for us to identify who we are. And I usually love to say this whenever this topic comes on air, that your identity is rooted in Christ. Therefore, for you to understand who you are, you need to go back to Christ. You say God tells Jeremiah, is it Jeremiah? That before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before you were brought into this world, I had already ordained you to become a prophet. Let me say this: there is this person that you are right now, and then there is that person that God designed you to be. Therefore, for you to identify fully who you are and your identity, you need to date back to the Bible. That is on a Christian ground. For you to be able to know who you are, it does not require you to stand in front of a mirror, because your reflection is Jesus. Your reflection is the image and likeness of God. Therefore, for us to be able to overcome the challenges that we face, such as depression, such as self-harm and these things that are causing a problem to the majority of the male figure in the society, we need to go back at least to understand who we are in Christ. What does God say about me? Whenever you have that final say from God, then it is always easy to get a way to be able to answer the challenges that are facing you as a human being. Mr. Lawrence, maybe you can help us on number 4. Number 4 talks about the emotional suppression, the impact of man up culture. Yeah, many times you are told, man up, grow up, be a man. So, emotional suppression, how can we be able to handle this emotional suppression, this trap that is leading us back to depression and stress, anxiety, and all this? Mr. Lawrence?
Thank you so much, Mark, for the opportunity. First of all, let me thank you all for finding time and join this discussion that meant to build us as men. So just to go to the focus and the question that have been asked, muuliza hapo kuhusu the emotional suppression and the impact of man up culture. I won't be able to talk much. Yeah, sinanga mingu mingi. So I'll just go straight to the point then. Yeah. So many men do opt to suffer in silence because they have been taught since childhood, men growing up, the culture has taught the man this phrase, Mara man up, be strong, don't cry. So it always leads to men hiding pain rather than expressing it because it's seen as vulnerability when they express their problems. It's seen as weakness. So you find, men wanakuanga na hii this notion that I'm a man, I'm strong, sijui I should be what. Like vitu kama hizo, like they are trying to, what will I use? Kujitofautisha with the ladies, like, ladies often cry. Like self-explanatory, I don't have to go much. So utapata men, like they fear being judged, maybe rejection, they see it as a shame, maybe they'll be weak in appearance, but the truth is that this man up culture and such phrases that zinafanya mwanaume ajione kama like somebody that needs to be strong all the time, inaumiza kiundani cause it only intensifies the pain, ina cause loneliness and emotional distress. Yeah, so nje nje tajiona ma pride man ama strong the way nini nataka, but in there's a challenge, like kuna shida, like there's ana build, there are things that ana suppress some pains and emotions that are zita end up zikimwangusha and coming back in future na kumfingilia kabisa. So as a man, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to share your problems. It's okay to cry if possible. It's okay to share your problems. It's okay to talk to somebody. Like, so there's not need ya hii kitu ya kujifanya that I'm a man, mimi ni mwanaume sifai kufanya hivyo. Yeah, I think I'm done. Sina mengi ya kusema, labda mtu anaweza ongezea.
Thank you. Sorry. Malawi is talking something that is Lawrence is saying something very profound, that the man up culture, even though it is the norm or the way everything is being taken outside here, that Lawi, you're a man, we understand you've gone through the initiation process of becoming a man according to our traditions. But again, we have said everyone is a human being, every man is a human being, and these tears, the emotions, these things were given to everybody, regardless of your age and gender. Yes, a man can cry, a man can weep bitterly. Therefore, he has said it's not bad when you admit that you're weak. He says it's okay not to be okay. Maybe anybody wants to add on that emotional separation, maybe before we pass. Mr. Daniel, will you help us there? Anybody else who feels like he wants to add something? Mr. Joel? Okay, we can move at least. Then yule kuna kitu atapata tu kuongeza as we proceed. Now, we have talked about depression. We have handled depression in men. We have talked about suicide and self-harm. We have talked about identity and self-worth. Then again, the emotional suppression. Then the healthy ways to express emotions. Now, number 5 is, I think, one of the biggest challenges that we are facing as every man, at least every person who is inside here. If not now, you have come to this position, you have come to this challenge, maybe you have met it in one way or the other. This is the financial pressure, the burden of being a provider, managing stress caused by unemployment, debt, and economic struggles. Who will help us here in this financial pressure? Here we needed somebody at least co-employed mwenye amejua shida ambazo ashawahi pitia when you're laid off from your job, when but because most of us here are still students and unemployed, at least we can be able to give our thoughts on the same. I'll return back the mic to Mr. Samuel if he is willing, and you can tell us how we can be able to cope up with these financial restraints and pressure, because even most of our girlfriends need money for them to stay in the relationships. Then, therefore, Mr. Samuel, if the Lord has blessed you with a voice on this, you can at least give us the direction.
Hey, so I'm a product of financial pressure, but with a small insight that the Holy Spirit will help us. We pray to learn and to unlearn some certain things in our life. So financial pressure. I think financial pressure, from my perspective, it comes mainly from what you see, because if for example, if you see if I see Malawi on a suit today, I something will be I will be left with a question, because the way we have been created by God as men to function is that we must look for a better version of us today than who we were yesterday. Allow me to put it this way, that men, we look for a more better version than how what we are. So if today I was wearing some my fake Nikes here, then tomorrow I see new Nikes that are original, I will want the original ones and leave the fake ones. Same way, if I see or if I desire to get something in my life, the desire is the will to push to get something. So if I desire to get maybe a car, maybe to take my girl on a certain, nimepita hapo leo CJ's leo. So if I wish to take my girl there hapo CJ's and she grabs some tea and some 1, 2, 3 anchovies. So if I wish to take her there, then do I have the financial position to accommodate the both of us? Because the major question that we are not asking ourselves is that I have taken her there, then what? Nimempeleka pale, then I come back and inama a whole week. Because some of us are still undertaking our exams. So, for example, kesho ni Sunday. Today we have just celebrated our wonderful Father's Day. By the way, happy Father's Day to all of you. So we have just celebrated a happy Father's Day. Then tomorrow niamue, for the sake of me and wanting to show that I am capable of being a man, let me take my girl hapo CJ's achukue 1, 2, 3 things. So that, because I saw that there are good things in CJ's, that's why I'm taking my girl there. That means that I'm restraining myself. I'm coming out of my budget so that I can impress somebody. Another thing that tends to push us there is social media. You see, nimeona Kenyan Prince anafanya things na forex, and I want to get fast money, but we tend to forget that there is a price to pay. If I want to do trades, then the first thing I must do before I start earning on trades is that first I must learn. And in the learning process, there are failures. I must fail. So financial pressure comes when you don't accept first to pay the price of getting where you want to be. If I want to be like whom do all of us know? For example, I really admire Didi Nyoro. I know we all know him at a certain length. So I admire Didi Nyoro because of his brain work and his life. So if I want to be like him, I must first pay the price. He himself paid the price first. That's why I love the Bible where Paul is writing to the church at Corinth, and he's telling Demas, because Demas came from Bethlehem to go to Moab. And if you look at the Hebrew meaning of the word Bethlehem and the Hebrew meaning of the word Moab, is that Bethlehem is a place of bread, and Moab is a place of death, or Ishmael, a place of Ishmael, if I'm not wrong. So he came from the place of death to the place of Ishmael. And if you remember, Ishmael was begotten of Hagar, and Hagar was an Egyptian who grew up in the house of Abraham and became a death root, a place where he could die. So if when Demas came out of Bethlehem and went to Hagar, he showed God that I can leave the city of bread, a place where God has given me many. And if you read the Bible very well there, inasema that Bethlehem walikuwa na starvation. That means hakukuwa na kitu at that time. Now, pressure came upon Demas to leave that place and go. So when Paul is writing this to Timothy, anamwambia, don't be like Demas, who saw as if Moab was a better place than Bethlehem, because Bethlehem was known to be a provider. So today I want to tell you, don't leave yet. Don't want to be constrained by what you see. First, pay the price. And I feel pressured in my spirit to tell you this, that a more successful version of you is also looking for you, but not this version of you. What do I mean? that if you are for example, I am aspiring to be a doctor in the future. I aspire to do neurosurgery in the future, but that version of neurosurgery is not yet there. It's not just, I cannot feed that version because I have to read. I have to do my studies. The millionaire version of you is also looking for you, but not this version of you. Allow me to put it this way. If I give Malawi 10 million and his brain capacity has been structured to hold 5 million, do you know Malawi will spend the 5 million yenye iko hapo juu until ifike 5 million ndio agundue sasa ako na pesa. Malawi, I'm saying this as an example. Don't take it on a high note. So teach yourself first to get there in your mind before you get there physically. Because everything that has been structured for you is just roaming around the spiritual realm. It's just waiting for you to activate it in the physical by growing into it. The book of Luke chapter 1 verse 8, it says, and the child grew. The child was John the Baptist. And if you look from verse 1 to verse 80, it was John the Baptist, the childhood of John the Baptist. Then all of a sudden the child grew. And when he grew, he was able to prophesy that a child is coming. So don't let the pressure of being the baptizer of men kill the child today. Because if you rush it, you will die. Look at the many people that rushed their anointing in your life or around your circle. The many people who wanted to get rich fast failed fast. So financial pressure all comes with the people who are surrounding you. And I love the person who has just talked about suicide, because ameweka that the people around you also affect what you think. I remember, if you have exposed yourself to deal with 3 million, you can only come up to a climax of 3 million. But if you have exposed yourself to deal with huge amount of money, then even the grace is allowing you to deal with it. Allow me to bring it home so that we can understand it in financial proposition. That for you to be able to stand among a church and pray and lead them in preaching, worship, and even prayers, you must have yourself reached that point in the spirit. Because I cannot say I'm taking Malawi. I'll be using Malawi a lot because at least here in socialize my kiasi. I will be taking Malawi to, for example, hapo Gikomba. Yet I've never been to Gikomba. Tutapotea wote wawili. So if God gives you 5 million and you cannot be able to handle the 5 million, my God, you will lose it. So financial pressure, you must first come with an understanding of, have you understood the financial plans? Have you understood your financial plans? What plans have you laid for yourself? If I'm being given a pocket money of 2,000 for a week, how do I handle that 2,000 for that 1 week? Have I separated my savings, my house expenses, and everything else? So, second, on that story of financial proposition, I would love to give this advice, but because I have used it. I have placed myself that I can never take a girl on a date until she shows the exact same, until she replicates what she wants me to give. What am I saying? That until she shows that she is worthy of being taken to a date, I cannot take her to a date. So that means until she shows that she is worthy of being bought for something, I cannot buy for her. Because they will start taking you for granted. Don't be too quick to go into your pockets. First look how deep is hers. Because unaweza enda ukute yako ni deeper than venye yake iko. Yet she can do something. So on financial pressure, I think that is what I can give on that. Backfire.
We can appreciate. Nani Samuel is trying to say, Malawi, please don't date Kama. Yeah, that is good. And then he has pointed some of the very important ways that we can be able to cope up with this challenge. And he has said that most of this, not all of it, but most of the financial pressures sometimes is motivated by our comparison to what we see, what we hear, and what we are seeing people having. And he has quoted something good. At least we will make it into a post as a quote that the billionaire version of you is looking for you, but not this version of yourself. I think that is very profound. We will make a statue with it very soon. Therefore, that is good. Samuel, thank you and God bless you. And I knew the Lord was going to give insight on how we can be able to overcome this. On this topic of financial pressures, guys, we cannot assume that it all comes from comparison or from the need to benefit or to satisfy the desires of our friends, that is girlfriends or friends or anybody. But we also have these challenges that you are facing. Maybe you are laid off from your work. Maybe you are having challenges that you need to be able to overcome, especially when it comes to settling your bills as a man, because to a man bill is given to a lady comfort is given. Therefore, a bill, you need to fix your bill. One of the things that I'll say is that make priorities, just the way Samuel has said in a rather a parable way, that he cannot take a girl outside until the girl reciprocates. Now this comes from a position of having priorities and having a list of what you want to meet first. For example, if you're paid, like I don't know who is working here, maybe like Ronald, you're paid your salary, you need to set targets. I have this rent I need to settle, I have this debt I need to settle first before this money runs out. I think that is among the ways that we can be able to overcome these challenges. So financial pressures, in addition to what Samuel has said, please have priorities. Having the top thing as your first priority. I believe most of us, all of us as Christian, our first priority is God. That is tithe. Give your tithe. Oh, and by the way, please give your tithe. I'm not supporting any church or any pastor, but please give your tithe, because tithe is the only way that you are showing appreciation that God, I received what you gave me. Now this is a physical identification of what you have given to me. That you gave me 5,000, I've given you this 500. You gave me 10,000, I've given you this 1,000. This is a physical Thanksgiving receipt that I'm giving to you, God, that you have given to me. Time is far much spent. I don't know if all of us are in agreement to delay ama we have the next session on another date. What do you guys think? Okay. Thumbs up kama tuendelee, thumbs down kama tuiweke siku ingine. Okay, so I believe we are good. The next topic here is number 6, that is, let me read really quick. Fatherhood and masculinity. Then there's something breaking unhealthy cycles, becoming emotionally present fathers and mentors. From this one, ningetaka at least mtu ambaye amepitia kwa mikono ya familia. So I believe Mr. Daniel
kitu ambacho hajakifanya au hajakosea kwa chochote kile. Baby Sugu, naomba uende ukacheze.
Into the angles of relationships and marriages. So, Mr. Daniel, if it's okay, you can take us through this.
Asante sana kwa ujio wako wa leo.
Mr. Daniel, when are you in? Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I hope you'll get. Yes, sir, we can get you. Hello, Mr. Daniel. Sijui kama umepotea tena ama issue ni network.
Mark, I think the issue is network. Juu place yako with network issues ni mingi sana.
Sorry for that. Okay, you can at least inform him through the inbox, maybe kama ni issue, he can work on it, then we can give him the chance when he comes back. So Mr. Ronald, wacha tuiruke kwa hii point ya number 7 so that at least we give that respect to him because he can handle it. Now addiction is one of the things that is really killing the vibe of manhood outside here. And what I mean is that addiction is really separating us from our future, whatever it is that God had designed for us. As someone, let's say that the better version of you is always waiting for you to find it, but addiction has become a word that is causing a stumbling block towards achieving this dream, this mandate that the Lord has given to us. So Mr. Ronald, in at least a few minutes you can give your voice on addiction and how we can be able to prevent to escape from the patterns of addiction.
Thank you, Mark, for another chance to speak on this. First of all, I would just like to highlight what it means to be addicted. From a dictionary definition, I think we can all agree that addiction is something depending on to survive. So in most cases, or the common addictions we know of is alcohol, drugs. We have betting or gambling. We have So all these are traits that we as human beings have come to learn and cope up with it with time. So maybe you find that maybe, for example, myself, I have no skill or experience in gambling, for example, but I start walking around people who are chronic gamblers. So slowly I start learning the technique of how they bet, they gamble, and by learning and adapting to it, I start feeling the urge, trying it out. And one thing about addiction is that it is always instant reward. Like you always feel the reward instantly, so you don't really feel the need or the urge to quit immediately. So what it does is that it gives you the reward slowly by slowly, and taking you around. Yeah. So before you know it, you become addicted. Like you now feel like every minute you get a single coin, it goes gambling. Every minute you get an opportunity, you dash out, smoke. You are maybe if you're addicted to cigarette or you are addicted to all those. So you find yourself hanging around those people who are doing all these things. And the way it always starts as a simple joke, like maybe just hanging around with people, normal hangout, because you cannot. We have all said that as a human, you cannot isolate yourself. But that group that you hang around with builds that character of what you become addicted to. So, for example, if you want to be addicted in a moral, upright beginning, you will not, and in this is in capital letters, you will not hang around people who are immoral, their behaviors is or their actions in the society are actually not really up to the moral standards. What you will do instead will work with people who are disciplined, who are guided, and who are maybe who are grounded in faith and in Christian values. That is, if you want to be an morally upright person. But in other cases that we have seen, is that maybe, for example, for those who are in campus, you can testify to this, that you find someone has joined the campus from the start as a first year, and he's morally upright, disciplined, very nice. He does all the assignments on time, and he has not a lot of how can I put it this, a lot of free time spending doing the wrong things. And in the wrong things, I mean maybe skipping classes and going to parties and all that. I don't mean it is wrong, but if it is spent in the wrong way, maybe in clubbing and all that, then it fails to meet the standard of maybe the recreation part. What I wanted to say about addiction, coming back to the point, is that it's something that starts slowly. So continue on that point of maybe you are now in campus, you have stayed there for like 6 months, you have met a new group of people who are just idle, they are there just to pass time. So you're slowly getting attracted to their lifestyle, and you start feeling, or you start allowing your mind to define like that is a life of a campus. So the way you now allow yourself to adjust your lifestyle to fit into that group, or to identify yourself to that group, you slowly start behaving like them. And before you know it, you become an alcoholic. Before you become a addict, before you know it, you become a chronic smoker, and because this is that you literally did not know starting, but it's courage. And I said, addiction is something that the reward is instant. You can feel the reward of it. For example, maybe today someone starts stealing. The first attempt might go successful, and he will be like, oh, so I can just grab and go, and you get a instant reward. But the consequences of it much later, because every action will always be weighed and judged. So if you have started an addiction of maybe smoking and doing doing drugs and alcohol, it will later come to haunt you, not spiritually alone, but also your health. You'll start maybe feeling having problems with your kidneys, having problems with maybe your blood pressures and all that. So addiction always start as something that you don't feel like started, like you feel like you can manage. And there are so many levels of addiction. The ones that I've just mentioned are the common ones that we all know. But there are addictions that you can mention, like maybe even masturbation. That is also another level of addiction. And another level, another type of addiction is someone who is, it's something that you cannot do without, and it's affecting your social life. You see, that is what is addiction in my case, or in my definition. So, how you can cope around addiction is that, number one, as I have mentioned, define what you want to do with your life. If you want your life to align with moral status of the society that we all know, of someone who is well upright and very disciplined and organized, then you have to align yourself with the right group, because at the end of the day, we all human beings, we want to identify ourselves with a certain group. So know which group you want to identify yourself with, because you are not, no man is an island for this. And that is why we are all here, right? We identify ourselves with the declare. That means we have to align our virtues, lifestyle, our characters to meet the declare family characters. You see, that is an example of how you can come around, overcome addiction. Number two, if you have find someone who has become an addict and he or she wants to quit, addiction habit, one of the ways that you can do is maybe recommend the person to rehabilitation, because fighting addiction is one of the hardest things that human beings can cope with, because remember, it's something that has engraved itself inside somebody's life. So, for example, quitting alcohol takes someone probably almost a year and a half or longer than that, depending on the level of the addiction. Quitting smoking might take someone even longer than 5 years, because that is according to some from the psychology. So it is important for you to know the kind of life you get yourself into. If you are someone who knows what you want in life, then it will be easier for you to avoid such kind of traps. And if you are someone who wants to help out someone, then highly recommend you to recommend them to the professional someone, or you can guide them, or also prayer sometimes help in healing some of these addictions. I hope my insight has been helpful, McCoy.
Thank you. We can appreciate Mr. Ronald. There's something I realized, guys. You see, when God created human beings and everything, everyone, like God said, everything was perfect. So, when God created human beings, He realized that everything was perfect and everything God had done best. Now, Satan came up with a strategy to get man away from the privileges of what God has given him, and so introduce some things like addiction. You see, addiction is usually a slow devil. It doesn't harm you instantly. You start today, there's nothing, you don't feel anything. But as time goes, you realize that you're losing the bigger part of yourself because you cannot come out of it. It's a jail that is usually enticing you. And it comes a point whereby you are over dependent on that thing, you cannot survive without it. For example, alcohol, addiction on pornography, addiction on drugs. These are things which are slowly killing your brain such that you reach a point whereby you cannot be able to overcome them. Therefore, from what Ronald has said, please, let's be able to watch our lives. Let's be able to tackle these problems very keenly so that we can be able to identify the problems you're having and find the solution to them. Given the time frame, I would like to invite at least Mr. Daniel, if he's okay, if he can carry on. Kulikuwa na shida na net, then we'll finish from there, then we'll have another session next time. So Mr. Daniel, are you okay to handle the topic number 6, masculinity and fatherhood with us in some minutes? Okay, I guess he's a bit committed. Therefore, guys, that was our session today. We will be able to handle.
Excuse kidogo. I think Daniel yuko kwa position to talk, but naona ameshare the nini hapo chat box, kuna ameshare his points, so maybe you can read it from there.
Oh, thank you. I had not seen this one. So, Mr. Daniel, sorry for that. I did not see. He said the apologies for the network failure. This is my contribution to the topic. That is topic number 6, fatherhood and masculinity. He said the following are the key points to note. Break the cycle by refusing to repeat absent or harsh father patterns you grew up with. Remember that presence matters more than Remember that presence matters more than presence, because time, attention, and affection build more security than money or gifts. Number 3, show emotion by apologizing when wrong, hugging your kids, and saying I love you, since this builds trust and security. Redefine strength so that real masculinity means to protect and nurture instead of control and dominate. Lead by example, because kids copy what you do more than what you say. Find mentors if you had no father figure, and seek older men who can guide you and your children. Then the last one, know that it is never too late to start being a present father today, no matter past mistakes. So this is from a very logical point of view, and from a fatherhood, we can appreciate him. Maybe you can read through the points he shared. They are very insightful towards understanding, because I believe that is the path that all of us are going to take. I believe lawi haukuchukua ile path ya kukuwa father because we bado ni kijana. You can only be a son, not a father. So as we continue to work towards our relationship and everything, Mr. Daniel has given us a profound message. You see, some of us are victims to our past growing up, that life that we had while we were growing up, whereby our parents were harsh. Maybe my dad, I cannot imagine hugging my dad, from those days. My dad was born in 1948, so hugging him hata saizi bado wako, lakini sasa kweli tumzae bana kuja hapa naweza pokea kibari. So we grew up from that position whereby our parents were no go zone, especially our fathers. We could not be able to come near them. But now Mr. Daniel is giving us a picture of what should be depicted in fatherhood. That is, you as a son, you're not a command of the house, you're the father of that house. You as a father, you are the father of that house, not a commander, and therefore it is your responsibility to lead them to the direction that you want them to take, because sooner or later they are going to also be fathers. So he has said that you need to resonate together with your family, and this is not a position of weakness. This is a father coming down to the position of understanding that there's a difference between a father and a policeman somewhere. If you are a policeman and you are a father, there's a difference. In the house you are a father, at work you are a policeman, in the nation maybe you are the president, but while you are with your children, you need to understand that logical standpoint whereby you are supposed to be performing the fatherhood duties. Remember, all the levels of Christianity, all the levels of earth is structured under the guidance, under the standard of fatherhood. When God was making the earth, he was making us the father. Therefore, there was love he was trying to demonstrate by creation, and he created everything through the heart of love and through the heart of understanding that he holds the position of fatherhood. Therefore, brothers here, brethren, kindly, when you grow up to that level, ukishapata mtu Mungu akawabariki na mtoto na watoto, kindly be able to perform the functions of a father. Again, now, because not all of us here are in marriages or in relationships, let me say this: you are also a father to the future that you are coaching. If Samuel is a preacher or a minister to where he is, it is his responsibility to lead them up to become like him or even better than him. Because you see, when Jesus was giving the mandate to the disciples and everyone, he said that he who believes in me will do these things, and even greater things than this will he do. It means if you're a father, your children should not be in a competition with you. They should be taking up after you. That if you build a legacy, then they come up and build another bigger legacy than that. And it is not for pride, it is not weakness that, my father never had 10 cows and now I have 20. It is not a competition. It is the position of responsibility that is duplicated in the offspring that the Lord has blessed your womb with. Are we together now? Thank you. Yeah. So that is very profound. Mr. Daniel will be able to speak with us again on a later date, and we will be blessed together with him. Before we crown it up, I see Mr. Brighton in the house. Mr. Brighton, maybe with a vocal wave, you can wave to us and greet us in the name of the Lord.
Hello everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I am Brighton Onyango. I was invited by my friend and brother Lawrence. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, ni vile tu session imeenda mbio. I had requested we continue, but I know some of us here are fathers like Benny, so they need to go and take care of their offsprings. But again, this session has been all live in YouTube. Kindly, after this, go and share this link. Let's be able to educate our brethren outside there. It was the topic of man, and let's cultivate a standard man that is well coordinated with the advices of the Spirit, and who has the impact that he can leave to the society. Benny, maybe you can take a minute or so to share with us why you're late and bless us also. So Benny, inaonyesha thumbs down na mention. Benny, kindly. We are only men here, so nobody is going to shy at your voice. Okay, Benny today amesema hawezi ongea from today. Anyway, guys, this has been Declare Family. This has been Declare Family. This is what we do here as a family. Our mandate, our key mandate is ensuring that we have the reflection of Jesus Christ within us. That when we walk outside there, somebody can look at us and say, that young man is found to be having the face and the real image of Christ depicted in his actions and his words. Therefore, you are welcome once again. Thank you so much to those people who have contributed to the session. Much appreciation and much respect to Sir Mr. Daniel for having time for us as your sons also. And thank you for blessing us with your teachings. Mr. Samuel, may God bless you and add your abundant wisdom. Thank you, Mr. Ronald, for that. It was very insightful. Thank you, Lawi. Thank you, everybody who has been able to attend this session. I know that the Lord is going to bless us. Our next session as men will be communicated earlier. We may even think of holding it in higher platforms. Tunaweza amua kwenda TikTok sisi wote na tukue pale twende live. We educate the world, because I believe what you guys have been saying in this session is meant not only for us here but also for the world. Please don't hold it within you. The gift that the Lord has given to you is not only for you, it is for the people that are looking up to you. So please go feed them because they are hungry. Mr. Samuel, kindly, usinyamaze, go feed the nations. Mr. Daniel, go feed them. Mr. Ronald, go feed the people. Lawi, we are hungry. Go feed us with that. Mr. Brighton, the same, Mr. Bain. So let's be able to do that. Thank you, all the men who have found time to join this session, and may God abundantly bless you. Malawi will give us the last direction as he chooses somebody to pray. I've been your host, McFire, and God bless you all. Thank you. Tukutane YouTube.
Thank you so much, McFire. Clap for McFire. McFire, clap for McFire. Clap for God for allowing us to have this session today, for the gift of life, for the wisdom is granted us to yeah. Mshamaliza clap. Anyways, I don't have much to say. Thank you so much kila mtu mwenye amepata fursa akajoin. Thank you so much Daniel, thank you Ronald, thank you Mark for hosting us, thank you Brighton for finding time, thank you Samuel, thank you Benny, thank you Declare. Thank you so much. Thank you Steve for joining. You can greet us, Steve.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good what? Yeah, good evening, people. I think naona watu najua hapa Kaloli au Brighton and pia najiona naitwa Steve and Daniel Lowino nikaa namjua mimi simjui. Yeah. I think nimejoin late but good to have a lovely day ahead. I'm a happy Sabbath ahead. Yeah. Thank you. I'll join you next time when I get there.
Thank you so much, Steve, and good morning to you too. We are glad that we made to join this morning. Yeah, so we are also live on YouTube. I might send you the